Hello, this is my little video about changing a couple of bits or sorting them out on my Land Rover Discovery 3. I've got a couple of issues. One of them is that the oil temperature sensor has given me intermittent fault. I've measured the oil temperature on a couple of occasions. Sometimes it reports okay, and other times it reports things like minus 20 degrees C. I'm going to pop off the skid protection plates. There's a small one at the front and a larger one at the back. And then I'm going to put in a new oil temperature sensor which sits on the side of the sump. I'm also going to check the wiring. I'm going to attach this first before I screw it into the wiring, make sure that the temperature reports correctly then. The other problem I've got is that the car intermittently drops down into a limp mode of low power. It's never done this before. It wasn't doing it in the winter. It only seems to have done it in the summer. I've been on various forums to see what might be wrong with the car. Some people are saying it's the high pressure fuel pump, some people say it's the low pressure fuel pump. So I've done some diagnostics, and that information I'll put up. That the according to disco3.co.uk, where there's a really good thread on this, there's a way of testing the low pressure fuel pump. So after doing some testing of the low pressure fuel pump, I discovered that my low pressure fuel pump does seem to be underperforming, which could be causing the limp mode. I'm also wondering whether the oil pressure sensor also causes the limp mode, because if it's recording temperatures of minus 18 when it's actually 20 degrees Celsius, then I wonder if the fueling is going to be incorrect for the vehicle. So I'm going to replace these two things and see if it kind of fixes it. The frustrating issue with the low power mode when it goes into limp mode is that the car it's unpredictable. The next two are different to all the rest. The others screw into the chassis or whatever's there. The first two on the top here have got a nut on the top, so you have to undo the nut and bolt. So I'm just going to get a spanner so that I can hold the nut. The other thing about these bolts is they are also 15 mils. The nut on top is 15 mils and underneath is 30 mils for the bolt. The bash plate's pretty heavy, so I tend to get a jack and support as well as I can. The jack's in the middle of the bash plate, and I'm going to undo the further bolts that are at the other end, and then I'll take these ones out and the plate will drop. Because I'm working on the ground, because I haven't got a pit, if you just do this like this, it's quite heavy to pull out, and if you're weak like me, you need to support it. So I'll support it on the jack. Once it's free, I'll let the jack go, drop it down gently. And it also really helps when you're putting it back on to use the jack, because you can basically jack it up to the position where the bolt holes are, and it makes it a lot easier to just then pop the bolts in and pull the jack out. So that's what I'm going to do. There we go. With that supported on there, it's much easier to take it out. Right, so this is the connector for the oil temperature sender, which is here on the side of the oil sump, and it's got this connector on it. So I'm going to just try and ease this off, however that comes off, and I'm going to check the wiring. Then I'm going to pop on the new sensor before I fit it and just make sure that it reads the right kind of temperature. So it's about 18 degrees C according to the car. So with these connectors, so this is 2007 Discovery and this has never been removed. Connector looks generally okay on the inside. I mean, it looks okay to me. I can't see anything as it goes further up. It's not split, so I'm assuming it's not the wiring that's damaged, but it is the sensor that's just given up. I bought a genuine Land Rover one because in my general experience, if you buy non-genuine Land Rover parts, they aren't very good. I mean, it looks pretty innocuous, but just gonna slide that on. Gonna do it and click it into place, and then we're gonna just pop into the car, and I'm going to just use my diagnostic tool. Right, so I'm in the vehicle. I have done the engine temperature check on my iCar Soft. Very useful little tool for checking fault codes and clearing various things. And this engine oil temperature is reading 23 degrees C. It was reading 18 with the one that was in the engine oil, which matches the temperature shown on the console readout on the display. So I'm assuming that the one outside the vehicle is just picking up slightly higher temperature because it is warmer. Clean that up. Now, because it's the oil's in the engine, what I'm going to try and do is cunningly swap them over. On the forum. I mean, I read it on the forum. They said, oh, only a tiny bit of oil drips out. Well, there you go, a big splurge. A little bit. I don't think it needs to be very tight. Right, that's that. I'm going to go back in the car, just double check that the temperature is reading correctly, and that is the oil temperature sensor replaced. 20 degrees C, engine oil temperature, looking good. Okay, so hopefully that's now going to be stable.